All right. So I talked to Lisa last night, and she said she.
Why you're crying?
Huh? Who?
Lisa.
Something was wrong with the banana. Because she doesn't want to go to Whistler. Anyways, so I called Lisa last night. I said, Lisa, can we go out like next month for lunch someday?
Really?
And she said like, I'm sorry, I'm going to Whistler. Next month, right? So if I'm talking to you right now, Anna, you say, hey, did you talk to Lisa? I say, yeah. So what did she say? I think she said she was going to or is going to Whistler next month.
I think okay, she's going.
She said, so according to grammar books, I should say, she said she was going, because it's like she said she was. But since it's next month, and not now, I say she said she's going to Whistler next month. Oh, she said she will.
She will.
But if it's now and I talk, I say, okay, do you know, have you seen Lisa lately? Lately means recently, right? So like I saw her 2 weeks ago. But then she said it was on a Monday, and she said she was going to Whistler that Monday, the next Monday, right? Or on Monday, on Wednesday. So 2 days after that. So basically she was going because now she must be in Whistler, right? Because it's in the past. So I hope you got the difference. So when it's still the future, when I'm reporting that, if it's still future, I can use future tense. But if it's in the past and it's happened and it's over, then I should just use past. Now, according to what I just gave you, and I want to read some of these things. There's some examples. I'm going to the cinema now. Things change, tenses change, and certain adverbs of time change and place. Like here becomes there. My house becomes his house or her house, right? So on and so forth. Today becomes that day. Yes? Yesterday becomes the day before. Tomorrow becomes the day after, or the next day. Last week becomes the week before. Next week becomes the week after. So, I'm going to the cinema, he said. He said he was going to the cinema.
Going to the cinema.
Okay. She said it's cold. She said it was cold. It's cold. She said it was cold. She said I'm teaching English online. She said she was teaching English. She said I've been on the web since 1999. She said she
Had been.
had been. Have been becomes had been. She said I taught online yesterday. She said she
Had
had taught. She said I was teaching earlier. She said she
been teaching.
had been teaching earlier. So she said she was teaching. She had been teaching earlier. She said the lesson had already started. She said the lesson because had started cannot move back one tense, right? Because past perfect is past perfect. We don't have past perfect. Again, past perfect continuous stays the same, no change. She said I'd been teaching for 5 minutes. She said she had been teaching. She'd already been teaching for. Will becomes would, like what? She said I'll teach English. She said she would. Yes? Can, could. She said I can't teach English. She said she could. Must, had to. I must have a computer to teach. She said she had to have a computer. Must, had to. Shall, should, may, might. Right? These are some of the changes. Direct speech, I might go to the cinema, he said. He said he might go. Might stays the same. So, and then you move on. You can also use the present tense if you're talking about a future event. We've talked about it. I'm going to Mexico next week. What are you doing tonight? Yeah? time change. So first, next week lesson is reported, is on report speech. She said that next week's lesson will be on, it's about future, the future. So time change. If the report sentence contains an expression of time, you change it, right? Like what? Now, 24 hours, she said yesterday's lesson was on presentations, or, so this evening, she said, I'll see you this evening. Tomorrow. She said, she would see me that evening. Yeah? Today, yesterday, or depending on that day. These days, those days. Like these days people don't buy, what? These days people,
Bananas.
these days people do not, no longer eat bananas in, no. The Dominican Republic? No. Give me an example. These days people what?
Book.
Look?
Book.
Book.
Books.
Books. These days people don't buy books anymore because they read everything online. So he said, like it's like maybe 10 years from now. Those days people, stupid. So a week ago, a week before, well I'm telling you that I saw Stefan a week ago. 1 week ago. And you say he said that he had seen Stefan, but 1 week earlier or a week before. If this goes on, there's some changes and you have them here. But I want us to actually make some actual sentences and then say goodbye to this topic. So basically, reported speech or quoted speech. So we have direct speech once again, just to make sure. Direct speech versus indirect speech. Or we call it reported speech. Or we say quoted speech. Now, direct speech is easy because he said, get the hell out. He said, go home. He said, quote, I am going. And in speaking, sometimes say, he said, quote. Have you heard quote, unquote? People say that? Quote, and sometimes at the end they say unquote. So, he said quote. If you say he said quote, in speaking, it basically means he said quote, or he said, and I quote. So say, he said, quote, you're waiting for something like this. He said, sometimes he said, and I quote, and I quote. He said, and I quote, I don't want to see her again. Now, do you want to actually go and talk to him? He said, and I quote, I don't want to see her again. He said she ate the banana and broke my heart.
Really?
That's so Michelle. Okay.
Oh my god, that's a new phrase. That's so Michelle. Dewey is lost. She don't know about
She was not there yesterday.
Okay, you should watch the video.
Sorry, you have.
No, but we don't see your paws.
Oh yes.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
wow.
Pose. We don't see your pauses like the paws of the cat. We don't see your paws.
Oh.
Pose, posture, posture.
Oh,
We don't see your paws.
Okay, nurse.
Show me your paws.
You should record.
Yeah, that's it.
Anna.
No, I'm not going to do that.
No.
Of course.
Okay,
It's called.
so, yeah. Okay. So anything in the past, if you, according to grammar books, the verbs in the past would move 1/10 faster, like more in the past. 1/10 behind. So basically, like, Simple past becomes past perfect. Past perfect remains past perfect because we have nothing further than past perfect, right? Like, present becomes simple past. Simple present, simple past. Present continuous, past continuous. Present perfect, past perfect. Like, I'm going becomes I was going. She was going actually, not I. So she said, I'm going to Mexico. She said she was going. She said, I saw him. She said, I had seen him. She said, I have been studying. She said, she had been studying. Yeah? She said, I will see you. She said, she would. Perfect. Perfect. Where did you get it?
Just a hearing.
Amazing. She would. She said she was going to. She said, I'm going to call you this evening. She said she was going to. Yeah? I will call you. She said she would. Will, would. She said she can. She said I can do that by myself. She said she could do that by herself. I can do that. She said she could do that by herself. May, might. She said it may rain tomorrow. She said it might. Must. She said you, like John must do this. She said John had to do that. This becomes that. Yeah? She said, I will see you next Wednesday. She said she would see me next Wednesday or the Wednesday after if it's like last week or if it was a month ago. So these are some of the changes that happen. I just want you to know this. Okay? 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 Are we good? Perfect.